It's always good to come back home, you know, like, first of all, the food. That's what I think about first. Yeah, get cookouts, home-cooked meals from my mom, so hanging with the homies. So it just always brings me back to, you know, reality in the midst of all the success and making music and shooting videos and doing interviews and stuff like that. So it's always good to come back and get grounded. So I used to live up the street, so the playground was right here, and like every day, you know, me and my friends would meet at the playground, do what we do, hoop, play, and I played football up in Greenfield, you know what I mean? So it was a connection. I got some of my homies here from football times back then too, when I was like in Little League and stuff like that. So it was like, this is like home to me. Once I started getting to my freshman year and then my sophomore year, I really honed my skills and was like, okay, this is what I want to do. And I was playing basketball as well with the same energy, on the same level. So it was like the pick of the litter, you know what I mean? I feel like sports now with all the social media and stuff like that, like back then we didn't have it, so it wasn't like able to get your name out there as much as possible to go to whatever school you may please and stuff like that. So it was like, it was cool, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's where I learned a bunch of life stuff, you know what I mean? Like growing up and girls, of course, and being the superstar of the school and stuff like that. So it was a cool time for me. Yeah, so like I used to always just hang around the kitchen with my mom and grandma. Like knowing one day that you got to get out and be an adult at some point. So that ended up happening when I was 20. I left the home and just found out how to cook, you know what I mean? And then when we got during the pandemic, I was just like, what am I gonna do to be in people's faces? And I'm like, all right, cool, I can chef up and just show some of the skills, and Make It Good with Chevy Woods was born.
I really don't know where he got the cooking skills from, because I'm really not a cooker, but I guess he picked it up like from some things, because he just said the other day, Ma, I fried some chicken and it tastes just like yours, like. So I don't really know where he got it from, but I'm glad that he's picking up something else, you know, cooking and stuff.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff is a little fancier than what we had to eat back then that I make, but I still put my mom's spin on it. It's funny, I always used to just try to put things together, like as a kid, just rapping, like beating on the lunchroom table and stuff like that. But one of my homies, he's here now too, his name is Richie. He literally like set me down, played me beats, notepads. He had them, he had the pens. He would call me and say, come over here and write. And when I was at Robert Morris, one of my friends, Ed Brown, also was doing the same thing that I was intrigued by, but he took it to like the internet phase. So that's another thing I was like, oh, so you can write it down, rap it at a studio, put it on the internet and people can hear it, and that's when it clicked. I called the studio, which is ID Labs, and I was like, yo, are y'all signing people? And he was like, nah, but you can come record here. I'm like, all right, cool, how much an hour? And it was like $50. So I booked 2 hours, and Wiz was in the back room, and I got the front room, and I didn't even know he was there. And of course, you know, the aroma brought us together, and it was like, yo, I like what you do, I hear your music. Franchise was talking about you, and it was like, I like what you do. And then we recorded a song called Me the same night we met. What did that say?
Oh, wow, Mac Miller. Oh, that's so awesome.
I keep it, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because we had a real connection other than just music, so I always just keep him around when I'm doing stuff. I feel like he always looked up to me, you know what I mean? Because with all the sports stuff too, I was into street stuff too, you know what I mean? So getting in trouble and running around doing stuff like that at a young age. But he was way younger than me, and he was at the studio at the time. So I would go about my day and then see him at the studio. And it's funny because we got a song called Paper Route, and he was like kind of nervous to ask me to get on the record, because thinking about, oh, this is Kev, I was Kev the Hustler back then. So he was like, oh, this is Kev the Hustler, he's from Hazelwood, I don't know how I'm gonna ask him, I'm a kid from Point Breeze, I go to older days. So he was just like, yo, could you put this hook on there for me? I was like, yeah, sure. And he was like, oh, wow. He was like, go even further, could you put a verse on there too? I was like, yeah, cool. And then we made Paper Route, and we were always tight. Even in LA and a lot of places I go, been on tour and stuff like that, we always look around for the Pittsburgh bar if the football season's going on. And it's always around, and I'm like, I'm not even from, we're light years, we're in Montana somewhere. And it's like, oh, here's a Pittsburgh bar to go watch the Steelers play. And I'm like, wow. So I don't know why people love us so much, you know what I mean? But I'll take it.
Yeah. What do you think about Pittsburgh sports fans?
I love them. I love them. Brutally honest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Brutally honest. So I'm one of them. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm definitely one of them. When things aren't going right, I'm in there on social media saying something. You know what I mean? When athletes leave from here on a bitter note, I'm on them. I'm like, yo, that was wrong, bro. You know what I mean? But when they leave on a good note, it's like congratulations. You know, and it's, you know, it's cool. I love the fans here are just super honest, and that's how we grew up. We grew up to be like super honest. We don't want that bum. Get him out of here. You know what I mean? So we're honest.
Do you have a favorite Pittsburgh sports moment?
Oh, the San Antonio Holmes catch against the Cardinals. It's my favorite Pittsburgh moment. It's just for me, it's not even the catch, just the placement of the ball where Big Ben threw it. That's what I look at. Every time I see that clip, I'm just watching the ball. I'm never watching like out of screen or anything like that. I just watch the ball go, and I'm like, how did he place it right there for him to reach up and tap his toes down, because there was nothing left. He had nothing else to tap, so it was just boom, and that's my favorite Pittsburgh sports moment.
Do you have any good stories about watching or attending any games here in Pittsburgh?
On a sad note, yeah, I think it was the 1993 AFC Championship against Kansas City. I think it was the Chiefs, and they kicked a field goal, and I like Joe Montana. You know what I mean? I bought the video game and everything, so I wasn't rooting for him, but I'm like, the Steelers are playing Joe Montana. So we sat down and watched the game, and they kicked a field goal to beat us in the playoffs. That was the first time like my heart was really like broken for sports, as a Steeler fan. And ever since then, I was like, this is what I'm bred to be, this fan, nobody else, you know what I mean? So yeah. Oh yeah, Pittsburgh fans, we are the best. I am one of y'all, y'all are one of me. Yinzer, I am a Yinzer as well, you feel me? Even though I don't say Yins, I'm a Yinzer. Everything you do, I do. I like beer and peanuts when I'm watching the Steelers. Everything, it's not, you know, it's sports period, you know what I mean, in Pittsburgh. Even high school stuff like that, you know, I watch high school games as well. I love y'all, you know, from me to you, all day long. Big Steeler love, yes sir.
If you're a fan of us, then you can gang with us. And to prove it, tune in Saturdays to hang with us.
Ooh.
Oh, and if that's not enough, then there's the web and stuff. So
Ooh.
just check us out on social so you can follow us.
Ooh, bars,
Boom.
baby, you know what I'm saying? Come on, man.